Why is this damn chili so good? Watch this and find out. What is up, guys? We are going to be making over-the-top Texas chili. We have a brand new Texas chili spice that just came out. We're going to be using these ingredients down here. We are going to be doing over the top, meaning we are going to be cooking with meat on a wire rack. Now, we are going to be doing a little bit different of a recipe than what's on the back of this Texas chili bag to make it like an actual true over the top Texas chili. It became really popular a few years ago in a lot of the internet forums. A lot of people say it comes from the big green egg, so I figured today we'll do it on the big green egg. That being said, we are going to be using chorizo along with 2 pounds of beef for chili. I just recently got a cow, so with that cow, I went ahead and had them do a little bit of a rougher cut of ground. I'm gonna be seasoning that with some platoon sergeant, and then down here we have 3 jalapenos. I have 6 cloves of garlic, a little bit on the heavier side, like elephant garlic style. We got 2 bell peppers, 2 onions. We have some fire roasted diced tomatoes, 1 thing of tomato paste, and I'm also going to be adding in some Shiner Brock beer. Normally I would do 2 things of tomato paste, but since we're in Texas, we're doing over the top chili. Figured Shiner Brock would be a perfect fit for that. No beans though, because we are in Texas. I'm not hating on you if you use beans, totally up to you. I just prefer my chili without beans. Let's get all this diced up. We'll get it thrown in the Dutch oven. Once we have it inside that pot, we will actually be throwing it on the smoker. I already have the big green egg turned to 275. Then we'll be making our meatball that'll go in the cooling rack. We'll let it smoke until it hits up about an internal of 155, 165, and then we'll be combining it all together, adding in our tomatoes, our chili, spice, and then letting it roll for about an extra hour to 2 hours past that. Remember, the biggest thing on chili is you want to layer the flavors. So the more flavors you add, the more of an amazing chili you're going to have at the end. And just because you don't have to follow the recipe that's on this bag, you don't have to follow this recipe, change it up, make it yours. That's what makes cooking so much fun and so cool. So enough being said, let's get this cut up and we will see you guys there. 2 bell peppers, 2 whole onions. We got 3 jalapenos. These are totally optional. You can leave seeds in, take them out. I normally will do 2 seeds and stems out, 1 seed in, and then I have 6 cloves. These are like elephant garlic, so they're a little big. Now, I am gonna grab 1 glove. So that way I got a clean hand and a dirty hand at all points in time. I am a lefty, which means I am correct, you are wrong. You are right-handed. I'm gonna go ahead and start with these bell peppers. One of the easiest things to do is just follow the skin around like this, and you can come all the way around a bell pepper. You got all your junk right there, and you got all your goods right here. Do the same exact thing with this one here. We'll chop this up. You can go rougher, you can go finer, really up to you. These are gonna melt down nice and good. I have all of these right here before I start cutting this next one. You can go ahead and start chopping them. Primary goal with this is you just wanna keep the size of your dices as even as possible. I do have my Dutch oven right here on the side. So we're gonna throw all these inside the Dutch oven. Get our last bit of bell pepper in there. I'm gonna go ahead and knock out the jalapenos because with the garlic and the onions, we're gonna have the skin everywhere. Makes it not fun. For this right here, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and de-seed, devein 2 of these guys. For that, you can stick a cucumber deal down there, or you can honestly just cut them in half. Take a spoon, or since I have a glove on, I'll hold the outside, just pop it out like that right there. I'd try and just keep my clean hand on the outside of the pepper, so that way I don't touch myself and get a nice burn later. One of the things that I do whenever I'm doing jalapenos is I'll just chop it like this right here. It's very similar to how we did the bell pepper. Once I have all of my strips about the same size, turn it sideways just like the bell pepper. I'll go ahead and give it a chop. I'll go a little bit finer than the bell pepper because I really want these to just kind of dissolve and melt away and just add an amazing jalapeno flavor to it. Again, you guys can go without jalapenos, you can go with jalapenos, you can do habaneros, you can do literally whatever you want. It's one of my favorite things with chili. I know some people like putting cocoa powder inside their chili to give it more of an earthy taste. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I'm not opposed to it. That's one of the nice things with cooking is you make it to what you want. All right, so that is our 2 de-seeded, deveined jalapenos. Let's go ahead and get this bad boy. That'll make it nice and spicy for us. That's gonna give us a good kick, but nothing crazy, something that everyone can enjoy. Except for some of y'all, I've seen some of your spice levels that you guys can handle. Biggest thing with the onion, we don't wanna cut the roots off. We wanna go ahead and cut through the roots. So we'll cut this guy in half, and then I will cut the sprouting end off. Now that we have that, we can go ahead and peel your outer skin off. We're good with that one right there. We'll do the same here. With this, what I'll do normally is cut it in half once, like that right there. And I'll normally run 4 to 5 chops like that, going across, so whenever I come down, it's going to be pretty fine diced. These are going to be inside of that Dutch oven and inside of the big green egg for so long, we really don't have to make them super, super, super fine. They will melt down very, very well. All right, we got our last onion going in. Now we have our 6 cloves of garlic. So what I like to do with the skin on, crush it like that right there. Skin falls right off, and then we can do a rough chop. I'm gonna go ahead and get all these crushed, get the skin off of them. Again, this is probably equivalent to 8 to 10 cloves of garlic. I had a little person-sized clove of elephant garlic left over in the pantry, so I decided to use it. So as you can see, we got a monster, and then we got an average size. We're gonna go with calling it a little person garlic clove. Rough chop. We don't have to fully finely mince it or anything like that, but you also don't want to take a bite and have that chunk of garlic going in your mouth. So what I like to do is get it nice together. We'll go across it this way. I'll then give it a rotate. We'll run through it again until we are fully chopped up to your desire. As you can see, we're getting finer and finer. I'm happy with that. All right, now one thing you want to make sure to do is before you go put this out there, we got some avocado oil I'm going to throw inside of here. We don't need a ton, but we do want to make sure that we are good and lubricated because we do not want this stuff sticking to this Dutch oven, 1. And 2, we don't need a ton because as soon as we start cooking that meat on top and our little meatloaf ball thing that we're going to make, we are going to have a ton of fat coming down and lubricating it for us. So we got our veggies good to go. We're gonna slide this out of the way. All right, so now we have the meat time. Like I said, we got 2 pounds of beef for chili. This is just like a rougher grind of chuck. I got 1 link of 8-ounce chorizo. We're gonna mix these 2 together. We're gonna hit them with just a little bit of platoon sergeant, not a ton, because this chorizo is gonna be salty. And then also keep in mind, once we marry these all together, we're gonna hit it with 8 tablespoons of the Grill Your Ass Off Texas chili. Normally you won't see stuff like this inside the grocery store available. I work with a local family here and we normally buy either a quarter or a half of a cow from them a few times a year. And honestly, it's been awesome ever since we started doing that. I'm able to make my own tallow. I make my own bone broth with it. You get to choose your cuts. It's just super nice in that aspect, and then also know where your meat's coming from, what's been done to it. You just get a good sense of security, and then it's super cheap compared to going to the grocery store. You're not paying, $20 a pound for a ribeye. So now that we have this, I'm going to mix together and kind of married some. The chorizo smells absolutely amazing. We're going to take some platoon sergeant. It's a salt, pepper, garlic. We use a couple different coarse grind sizes of salt and pepper and an amazing garlic to give you great flavor. We're not going to go too terribly heavy because keep in mind we are adding the Texas chili, so that's going to have salt inside of it. Not a ton, but as well, you're going to have salt inside the chorizo. I'm going to continue to mix this in a good bit. Make sure that salt, pepper, garlic is mixed in. I think we are looking good to go on this, and I'm going to attempt this one-handed. We're going to make a nice little ball of meat. Keep in mind, you want to make sure it's a little bit smaller than your Dutch oven or your pot or your pan that you're going to be doing it over, or else it kind of defeats the purpose of having all this beautiful fat dripping down inside of there. All right, so we're going to take our little meat patty, and I have a wire rack. This is like a cooling rack, you could say. And we're gonna pick this guy up, set it down like that right there. So we have this on. Now let's go throw our Dutch oven and this on the big green egg. All right, y'all, we got a big green egg. It's rolling right at 275. It's a little warm right now, but that'll do. She'll come back down. I did wipe down the outside of this Dutch oven with just a little bit of avocado oil to keep it from getting, nasty or anything like that on the sides. I did put down some tin foil just to make sure we're good whenever I go to take it off. Got my cooling rack right here. I'm trying to make sure to center it. You have the meat directly over all of the vegetables. Give this a close, make sure she's good. We're good. We're gonna let that ride until the meat, like I said, is about 155 to 165. All right, so we just hit 165 internal. Let's check this guy out. Our meat's looking amazing. Our vegetables are good and softened up inside of there. What I'm going to do, as we can see, we can break that apart. We got a good smoke ring right there around it, and this will just crumble right apart and go deep down into those veggies and juices. Honestly, thinking about just shredding it like this right here, letting it fall down in this grate to help me break it up. If you have a potato masher that you would use for ground beef, you can do that as well. Let's go ahead and get this all apart down inside of here. I'm honestly liking kind of going through the grate. We can take this off, break it up. You could throw the whole entire thing inside of there, but this is actually working out pretty well. You can see an awesome smoke ring on it. It smells amazing. You see the chorizo inside of there. I'm excited about this one. More excited than some of the cooks we do. All right, honestly, I think that looks really good. We're gonna get the last little bit of this meat off. Then it's time to add all of our liquids. So this took right at about 2.5 hours. We're rolling 275 for the most part. As you can see, we just broke up all this meat. We have all of our vegetables good and softened. Looks great, smells great. Before I mix this up too terribly much, I'm gonna go ahead and start adding our liquids. We have our tomato sauce. Again, we're doing 1 can. I would normally do 2, but figure with over the top chili, might as well go over the top. And being in Texas, since we are over the top, got a nice shiner box. I'm gonna go ahead and dump this whole entire beer inside of here. I have some fire roasted diced tomatoes. You can go with regular diced tomatoes. I like to go with the fire roasted because, again, it's just adding layers of flavor. And that's what makes chili so great. The more layers that you can add, the more flavors you can get. Last thing, most important thing out of all this, we have a grill your ass off Texas chili. We have a recipe on the back. This one's obviously a little bit different. Like I said before, coolest thing, do it on your own, however you want. Awesome chili mix. If you follow this recipe on the back, it'll actually do 11 batches. You can get up to 55 bowls out of it. I'm going about 8 tablespoons. I'm just eyeballing this one. Now we're going to give this a good mix. That chili spice is going to give it some awesome color. We're going to let this roll for about an hour. Let these liquids reduce down some, thicken up. Give it a taste test then. Make sure everything's marinated, and if we don't need to do any other small tweaks, we'll see y'all then. All right, y'all, I pulled this off of the big green egg. We've been letting it rest for just a little bit, but look at this. It looks and smells, the whole entire house smells absolutely amazing. So I just made myself a bowl. We're letting it cool down so I can give it a taste test. We'll see you there. The chili is done. It's been resting. It's taking too long to cool off. So again, we used our brand new Texas chili. I have the bowl right here. Full bowl. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for this thing to cool off. It's still raging hot, even holding it. The spoon's freaking hot. But we're gonna give it a go. Make sure I get some meat, get some veggies in there. That's just like unreal. You get the smokiness. You get everything that is inside the chili. You get the chili spice, you get the jalapeno, the onion. You can taste like the char on the actual tomato, but it has a great earthy style taste to it. The meat is just right texture wise on not being like too small of crumbles or not too big. It's not too spicy, but it has a good aftertaste style burn and a good hint of beer to it. Honestly, this is like my favorite chili that I've made to date. I will be making it again, probably every time I ever make chili. Can see a little bit of the fat on top of here. So if fat's something that bothers you, or you go to put this in the fridge and you need to reheat it, you might have some fat solidify on top. You can always just scoop it out or take a paper towel and then pat it on top of this and you'll be good to go. But seriously guys, give this a try. It's a super simple recipe, but it gives you so much more of a complex and in-depth flavor to chili. This is my first time doing over the top chili and I don't think I'll go back. Cheers, we'll see you on the grill.